up, everybody? Welcome to a nice semi-early episode of Francis and Friends because we got Thanksgiving. I don't know where Thanksgiving ranks on your tier of holidays. I've already exposed that I'm a huge Halloween guy, but the fact that we're still in that late part of fall and you're not going to get scammed with Uber prices like you do on New Year's Eve, one of the all-time scam holidays out there, and I'll talk about this more as we get closer to New Year's. But Thanksgiving, it's amongst the upper tier of holidays because, you know, it ain't the winter yet. You can enjoy that last bit of fall. And really, what are you doing? You're eating, you're watching football, and then you're getting ready for, I would say, some Cyber Monday / online Black Friday deals, because my policy is if you're going out to one of those stores, you really have to reevaluate what you're doing out there. You're going to go stand on a line at Best Buy. You know why I could never do that? Because I always think of the employee at one of these Best Buy. They look out the camera, and honestly, it's like one of the zombie. They're looking at you like one of the zombies from War of the Worlds. Like, look at these people all stacked up on just waiting to get in, waiting for that gate to open up, and it's a Royal Rumble. Why? To get that 60-inch TV with a solo HDMI input that gets the green thing around the edges, which I don't even know what that is. A couple years later, it's one of the all-time scams, like how they tell you on Groupon, save 85% on a hot air balloon ride. You were never going to go on a hot air balloon ride, so they just got $225 out of you. But the online deals, that's kind of where it's at. You can find the good deals online because, you know, like Bose headphones, it's the same price all year long. So when you see a good discount on that, it's probably worth it. That's why we got a real online deal for you. You guys know the Odd Shopper premium prices. You know how little they fluctuate. Maybe you'll get an early season deal. You'll get a deal at some point, but this is a nice, big, chunky Black Friday, 50% off Odd Shopper Premium. You guys know, I still don't know how they work the analytics. That's like intellectual property. If I go to open the door, I'm going to get like zapped or something. But I call it the bunkers over at Area 51. We got guys like Ben in there stirring up chemicals, like the ooze from Ninja Turtles 2. I know most of you don't know what that is, but you can look it up. It's neon green, and all the Area 51 stuff they got going on behind closed doors to come up with those props that they're goddamn good. Every time I peek behind the door and look at some of those, I end up saying, how the hell did I miss that? You know, these last couple of weeks, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, was those Chuba Hubbard receiving yards for me. They always find these weaselly ones. The other night, the Odd Shopper Premium pick that I gave on my channel was the under on Sky Moore receiving yards. And what do you know? He was an extra receiver. Looks like Hardman took a... They're in there calculating these things. And I'm happy to have my Odd Shopper Premium. Now, I'll be honest with you, because I make videos, I get to see them, but I'm goddamn happy I do. So you probably should take advantage of that promotion while it's going on. 50% off Black Friday, but don't go standing on a line at Best Buy for a TV. TVs are like $200 now. You get an 80-inch TV for $200 online in the middle of February. So don't kill yourself for that TV. Just don't end up on one of those lines, especially because we got some football on Friday. Hopefully Goodell put that out there to keep people off those lines. It's like, well, then again, it is the Jets after all, so I don't know how many people are going to be glued to their TV, but that's the beautiful thing about sports betting. As I've mentioned on many of my videos, it makes every game is the season finale of Game of Thrones season 4, not the scam seasons later on, but season 4, Tywin Lannister on the toilet. That's what a Jets game is to you if you have a couple of sniffs on the line. And don't mind my repainted noses over here. It wasn't enough for me to have this tower of noses. I had to paint it flesh colored. This is the kind of individual you're dealing with. But somebody who pays that close attention to the color of noses on a screen is going to pay attention to some nice bets for you guys going into this Thanksgiving slate. Thanksgiving. Mike, first of all, happy Thanksgiving. I don't know where you kind of what you pick at the table. I will reveal one embarrassing fact about myself. I don't even know why, but I'm that guy who eats that cranberry that they stick at the end of the table. That upset that where you go, oh, come on, are we just doing that so that the pictures have the cranberry? I actually eat some of that, but at least I admit that's ridiculous. When I explain to people that I don't really eat much sushi and stuff, they're like, you don't eat sushi? I'm like, yes, I don't eat raw fish that if you were to let sit in a room for an extra day, it would destroy the place. It would honestly, it would smell like just a full disaster area, and people act shocked that I don't eat sushi. Raw fish held together by seaweed. How can you not like that? At least I understand. The cranberry is a weird choice, and I'm admitting it, but I do happen to like it. And I don't expect you to. But happy Thanksgiving, Mike. I know you told me before you were a fan. Hope you get to enjoy a couple nice thick slices of turkey out there.
I love Thanksgiving. It might be one of my favorite holidays. I love that it's just get with people you love, a big feast, a little drinking, a little smoking, whatever you do. And of course, what we do here, watching Pigskin, betting on it. So, yeah, thanks, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I do fuck with the cranberry.
Here's what I know about Ben. He gets the best EV on what he's eaten throughout the day. And I feel like he mixes it up nice. He does it at the right time. He even eats the leftovers to get maximum EV on his bets. That's what he's all about. So why don't we bring on Ben and we can see what we should be doing on Thanksgiving. I said this to Lofty. I go, Ben's the kind of guy I want him to watch my kids. And I don't even have kids, but if I did, Ben would be watching them. So, Ben, what's going on, man? Happy Thanksgiving. Are you a Thanksgiving guy? Where is it on your Family Feud board of holidays?
So I don't think we'd get the red X. It would be on the it'd be one of those tricky ones that are like impossible to get. They're like 6-pointer.
Yeah, the three
Hey,
people.
yeah, exactly. Like 3 idiots said this, so you don't get a strike. It's all right. I don't really like turkey a ton. I'll have a nice steak tomorrow though. It'll be good. I'll probably, as you already mentioned, I'll probably pop in Secret of the Ooze, watch that, get my Ninja Turtles on. Just a typical day for me, honestly. No real changes.
100%. I was saying, like, if you have those like smart TV channels, if you purchase one of these absurd Black Friday TVs, and then you turn it on nowadays, like as long as you have internet access, it connects you to a whole bunch of channels that are
Oh
just
yeah.
the same thing 24, like the World Poker Tour channel. That's what like horror movies are for me. I don't know, it could be Christmas, it could be 4th of July. They even made a horror movie called Thanksgiving, so maybe I'll watch
I
that
saw
tomorrow night.
that. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. In the trailer, some girl, of course, is getting killed in the oven turkey style, and she's like, it's absurd.
Disturbing.
Anyway,
Yes, I did see those previews, but no, I'm all right with Thanksgiving. Nothing too crazy, but I am excited to hop on and talk a little football.
well, I do want to say I'm not somebody who just brings something up and then leaves it out there in the dust. Say, hey, why don't we do this? And then I never think about it again. I think I finally got to the bottom
I
of some of that detective work. And
don't think I forgot.
okay. So those percentages came out. Usually DraftKings, I see one of their guys put it out, BetMGM. So the BetMGM guy put out the percentages yesterday. And I said, excuse me, sir. And I tweeted, is this percentage you're putting out? And I know it's early in the week, but by Saturday, when these points may have moved a line or two, is that including all the bets along the way? And we have a public confirmation that it indeed is an
Okay.
aggregate of all the bets. So not that that's the definitive answer, but I do like to know what that unlucky guy from your town is betting, because maybe I'll just, even if I like something, maybe I'll go the other way. You know what? I guess that's a perfect segue, because I saw his percentages for this weekend, and unfortunately, something that I like falls right into that tier. 2 weeks ago, I said I'm betting against San Francisco against whoever they play, because they're a guy who's been in jail on a long sentence, and now they're going on their first date with a girl. You don't want to be there to see what they're going to do. And then I said I don't mind it again next week. And just seeing this spread of 6.5 against the Geno, maybe some Drew Lock, like one tough hit or one bad throw from Geno and Drew Lock's in the game, 6.5 against the Niners, who are probably refinding their stride. Can you either I don't know is my gut pointing me in the right direction, because I'll be with every unlucky guy from your hometown. We'll be on that Niners game. So
it's hard to push back, because I agree. Sometimes, you look and you fall right into the trap. They're on the road, but first of all, it's starting to tick up to 7 at a lot of places. I think that's an indication that you're either going to get maybe not 100% Geno Smith. If you get Drew Lock, just forget it. God help him against this Niners defense. I think San Francisco, yeah, they took a couple. There's no doubt about it. And then I thought, like everyone, maybe Jacksonville could really showcase more problems, and the Niners said enough is enough. We're back in business. Divisional game, short week, I think actually favors them more than Seattle. You find 6.5 out there, I will be with you and society in complaining at the well, it won't be the dinner table because it's late at night, but I'll be complaining nonetheless if the Niners don't get this done.
Well, also, at least there's the good shot too. Even if you get it and Geno can't play, that
Huge.
line's going to immediately move. And at least you're a winner already. So either you beat a diminished Geno at 6.5, if you can find it at 6.5, or it's going to move to what, 10 or something like that, 11. You think it would move that much probably if Drew Lock was in there? So you could be a winner even if. So I told everybody that you with the ooze in Area 51.
Got the ooze. Just like Shredder when he made those giant creatures.
Of course. And we got some of that ooze in that gravy bucket to pour on some of these bets. I'm assuming you got some fresh ones for tomorrow. Tell me what you're seeing out there, because many times the props, some of them slip under my nose, and then when I check them after the fact, I'm like, why did I not take that? What's wrong with me? So what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, again, so it's fascinating. And again, I know it's a Thursday slate, so of course there's injury news to be had, and teams are banged up. And you've got 3 big spreads, but you mentioned that in addition to laying, you can lay the points on some of these. I'm gonna get into the lab, into the ooze with someone that no one's really thinking of, but Romeo Doubs. Yes, Romeo Doubs for the Packers. Over 35.5 receiving yards. Pretty simple case to be made. You got over 35.5 receiving yards out there. Other books are up to 40.5 already. Some of the books are straggling. And you look at this, I think the Packers might actually be out of running backs. Aaron Jones is hurt. Dylan's banged up. I guess he will play, but who knows? They're going to have to throw the ball. Watson, Romeo Doubs gets some work. And at 35.5 at -110, that grades out. I'll give people a peek. Like I said, when you get into wherever they stole that ooze from, this is where we want to be. I like that quite a bit as an under the radar prop.
That's something that I really like, because when I've been watching those Detroit Lions these last couple of weeks, nothing makes me happier than a reputation that just lives on for whatever reason. I bet against the Rams for like 4 straight weeks, and we covered, because they were living off a week 1 reputation against everyone kept saying, but what about that Seahawks game? I'm like, oh, sure, the Seahawks game. Yeah, I'll bet against them. Pittsburgh covered. I forgot, was it Green Bay? A couple straight teams covered on them, and now they beat Seattle again. Maybe we'll get a whole bunch of other deals. People say, but they beat Seattle again. But Detroit, their defense has this reputation, like, they play hard for their coach. You remember earlier in the year, I'm watching these last couple of weeks. There's all sorts of opportunities for the Bears. I mean, Fields just missed a couple of long throws, but he still was able to pass. He's not the best passer in the world. No. You saw what Justin Herbert did to that defense the week before that. You saw what Lamar Jackson did before that. And Lamar Jackson, everyone chalked it up to, wow, he's a star. What's he done since? Everybody's throwing pretty easily on this pass defense. And not saying Jordan Love's great. I'm not the biggest fan, but at least he's trending up these last 2 weeks. Even, I know people will say, but they played the Chargers. Yeah, but the week before that against Pittsburgh, he played all right. Threw a couple picks, but he played all right. You know what? For this bet, we don't care about picks. That's a great one.
Picks. I hope he throws a pick 6 to start the game. Get him throwing even more. What do I care?
Yeah, 100%. And for the Pirates out there, I'm sure they'll be checking some alt overs on that, something like 50 plus to get somebody. He's one of those guys like these Brandon Cooks characters who, if it goes over, this guy can go 75 plus. Like, they're going to have a receiver that has a good day. Last week was Jordan Reed. It's never Watson. So gotta like this pick, especially without Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield catching passes. I feel like that opens up more targets. That's a really good one for that game. So that would be the early one. And then should I say, well, I just gave you Brandon Cooks. I mean, he's covered 2 straight. Is that one that you'd be okay with?
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that's kind of, I like that mentality of like, yes, if you want to tell me you want to go to a CD Lamb prop or him to score, of course, he's a monster. I get it. But there's plenty to go around. And the thing I like about Dallas, they've been destroying bad teams. They're not running the ball. Dak's throwing for like 400 yards in those games. So it's not like, oh, Washington, this is going to get out of hand. Maybe it doesn't prevent Gallup or Cooks to really get going. So I'm right in that wheelhouse with you there. I don't have much to say about Dallas, except it's really all systems go with, I look for unders a lot, but in certain situations, I'm willing to play these overs. And I think this is a pretty good one to target if you want to cheer for some points and production.
Yeah, so I'm with, like, my kind of philosophies are, you'll always kind of see me take the overs on undervalued players where, I see opportunity. I don't like taking guys like, Diggs at these 95 totals and CeeDee Lamb because they could have, as I told Nick last week, because he's like, oh, I like the over on ETN. I was like, the guy could have, like, I think he took like the 90 something combined rushing and receiving. I was like, if I told you the guy had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns, you'd say it's a great day. And the fact that doesn't cover, that's a disaster. So I typically, like, I was all about CeeDee Lamb when he had a couple bad weeks, and then they moved it down to like 66 against the Chargers. And then I was like hammering the over on that. But when I see those high totals, not the biggest fan of those ones. I guess that's one from each game. Is there anything maybe I missed for tomorrow's slate that or should we take a look at Sunday? Actually, can we throw up those percentages now that we know that they're real?
Yeah. And now that you got to the bottom of it, I mean, it's such a fascinating week. Obviously, I love Thanksgiving football. And then, looking at Sunday, yeah. I mean, who in their right mind? And I can't even, the poor Jets, they are beyond dusty. Everyone in the world is going to be betting the Dolphins. And it's hard for me to even fault them at this point. It's just Tim Boyle and the clear. I don't know, man.
Well, what's weird about this is, as you saw last week, the Jets have 2 good corners. They did a number on Gabe Davis and Diggs, and that opened up opportunities for Shakir and Kincaid. I'm seeing it, but that's weird because the Dolphins really have 2 alphas, and then it's like they don't spread passes to many other players. This is actually weird. This is a weird game.
It is a weird game. Listen, anytime, I don't care who it is, when you go on the road in division, it's never easy. It really isn't. Now, this is about as easy as it gets in some. I don't know how the Jets are going to score, but you're right. I mean, the Jets defense isn't going to roll over and die. And if you can contain Waddle and Tyreek, Mostert in the backfield, obviously a good player, but we'll see. We'll see if Cedric Wilson from the clouds does something.
I don't know, man. This one might have rat potential.
Okay.
You bench your quarterback. Now, I've seen some real freaks come in over the years, because this is my house money theory. You have nobody, if you get absolutely destroyed, it's just a rollover from what Zach Wilson was doing. Mm-hmm. And I just believe psychologically they take chances that if this was week 1 and they were named the starter, they wouldn't take. And I feel like I've seen this a bunch. And then just the way the defense lines up, this could be a rat in the making. How many points they getting?
So that's the thing that I do want to point out. And again, I'll quickly shout out Odd Shopper. You mentioned that deal. One of the many things you get is the ability to shop it. You can get 9 points with the Jets. You can also find 10, and that is huge. Like, you can get up to 10 points right now, and maybe it pushes even higher. Double-digit home dogs are always dangerous.
I got news for you, people. I'm taking it. And I know you don't believe me. I'll show you the ticket. You show me that ticket, I'll show you a good time. I'll take the Jets. And that's just too many points. And then they just got that. They're going to have that we bench the quarterback juice. I don't think everyone's going to want to quit on him. You had Breece Hall apologizing to the fans after the game. Watch him have a game. Watch Breece Hall have a game.
Great player.
Uh,
I do agree, though. I will give you props. I 100% agree with the concept that it's a free roll mentality when you are coming in for a guy. No matter what you do, you play loose. You're not playing for your job. You know, okay, if I do great, great. If I don't, it's more of the same. There is a freedom about that really does help teams and quarterbacks.
Do you remember Mike White?
Of course, those were the days here. Like I said, we're not super close in proximity, but I'm a New Yorker, so I remember the Mike White days, the Jeremy Lin days. There's been a lot of weak, small slivers of hope in New York that were fleeting over the years.
All right, if I could watch Tommy DeVito throw a couple of touchdown passes on the road, given that is the most, I mean, it's cartoonish. I cannot believe it was real. I'm like, come on, he didn't actually do that. Coming off the field with the pies on emoji, that really is something else.
What a time to be alive.
1000%. And I told Laffy that I'm going to try to bring up DFS here and there. Do you partake in these smaller slates? Because I'm involved a lot, but the smaller slates have always scared me a little bit.
The smaller slates are definitely different, definitely tougher in some ways. I think my one general advice for that is don't be afraid to really be different and unique. You can play defenses against your quarterback. You can mix it up. You have 4 or 5 guys from one team. Things that maybe wouldn't work on like a 13-game slate. Embrace it. Like, do some weird stuff because you can get away with it on just a 3-game slate.
Did you see the chatter about the millionaire
Oh, I saw
lineup?
That was quite a lineup. Yeah, you mentioned Kincaid and Shakir. That guy, if there's one person that has the ooze, that guy's got the ooze.
The guy who won the million?
Yeah, that guy. That's like at the end of the movie. Remember when Shredder like takes all of it? that guy, he took all the ooze for that lineup. Like that is what happened. He legitimately drank all of it.
I saw somebody. I try not to go too deep into the comments, but somebody put an interesting comment. You think DraftKings is intentionally pricing players higher than they would because of stacking to make winning less predictable? So, for example, they're trying to say, DraftKings is saying, well, we know people have this whole stacking notion down, and we want to try to even the playing field for what I call them Charlie buckets. I call people like yourself Willy Wonkas, where, I don't know if you do this, but people who max entry and they have this much of the board covered like a roulette table. And then there's the guy, I believe the guy who won the million is a Charlie bucket. He
had one team.
That's true?
100%. He had one entry.
Charlie Bucket had to buy 2 chocolate bars. This guy had less of a budget than Charlie Bucket and won the millionaire. So you should never get mad at people like this. These are the people who saw the commercial and said, I'd like to win $1 million. Oh, I like Shakir. I saw him score in the playoffs last year. I'm going to put him in there. So I never fault people, but
it's awesome.
Yeah, that is great. And I kind of like when the Willy Wonkas of the world get upset. Who got pissed off at that? Slugsworth? Be happy for some guy. I would be more pissed if a DFS guy won it because it's like, you have some sort of competition with them. It's like, not money, but a Helmuth losing to Negreanu. You don't care if you lose to some teacher from Kansas City. You care if you lose to your actual competition out there. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I do.
Yeah, people should be happy for Charlie Bucket out there.
I'm happy for him. If it wasn't me and I did not win the Millie last week, can confirm. So I'm glad it was someone with a hell of a story and a hell of a team.
That's great. One
entry.
Is there anything else I don't know about him? Because that's
Andy, do you mind if I add something? So you asked Ben if he does.
Mike, you can add nothing. You can add nothing. Let's go to no. What's up?
No, well, you asked Ben if he does smaller slates, and he's not going to humble brag it, but he has a great podcast only show with Laffy that kind of focuses on single entry and 3-game. I listen to it every week. It's awesome. And for this 3-game Thanksgiving slate, I would highly recommend giving it a peep. That's
I'm
all.
coming into one of their next shows where they
Hop
talk
in.
about the Sunday slate, and I'm gonna run amok on this show. I'm coming in with my weekly sniffs. Brandon Ayuk was my Men's Warehouse pick of the week last week, just going off all over the place. I'm gonna come in there and run amok, and then just leave before the show's over. I'm gonna like crash the show.
Always welcome. We need more of that on that show. We'll get you in there.
All right, I'm coming in hot. You do it for the big slate, right?
Yes, sir. Every week.
I'll be in there.
Beautiful.
I'll be in there. Well, I do want to thank you for coming on, man. I know we got a lot of stuff going on right before these. You know, we have a series with the Wednesday games, or the Thursday game, the Friday game, and the Sunday game. So I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. I will talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Take it
same
easy,
to you,
my man.
Ben. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your bacon.
You too.
But you know, not everybody is as happy as Ben. Some people, you know, there's obviously the Grinch on Christmas, but we also have the pricks on Thanksgiving. And you can find these people around. And when I saw that great story about Charlie Bucket, how about I take that Charlie Bucket story and we make it a movie, because it should be a movie. We should see this guy. He's got to go up against every professional on this channel and every other channel, and he wins the millionaire. But you want to know who wouldn't be a fan of that?
Who?
I don't even remember his name. Some miserable guy who made the rounds. He's one of these Gary V, tell you how to live your life. You got to do this, you got to do this, and you got to invest in this. And if you do that, you're going to be way happy. Don't sports bet. If you sports bet, you're a degenerate. However, if you go work on Wall Street, we're going to pat you on the back, even though you're doing the same thing under a different umbrella, and it's just socially acceptable, like smoking cigars opposed to smoking weed. I don't smoke either, but I'm going to defend the ones who do. So if you can pull up this tweet, I'll go by. I mean, I don't know who this guy is. Probably fine, but it made the rounds, and he basically said sports betting is a complete waste of time, and anybody who does, like, you're essentially pissing your life away. And I guess my response to that, okay, sports betting it's a pandemic. Sad deal. Grown men wasting a ton of money, and the company's pouring hundreds of millions into ads. If you're betting, please stop. Thanks, Dad. Nothing to gain. Nothing to gain, especially that Willy Wonka, Charlie Bucket kid who's running a chocolate factory. He's running a chocolate factory because he didn't take sweaty startups advice. Nothing to gain. Not a full chocolate factory that you could win on a Sunday, having, you know, an unstacked Brock Purdy as your quarterback. I already mentioned. You want to know what he's not going to have tomorrow? Any thrills, because he's got nothing on the line. Obviously, you should always keep everything in check. This is with all your vices. You keep them in check. What does this guy do on a Saturday night when he has free time? And all right, if you want to say, look, family duties will always come number one, and I'll always pat everyone on the back. When the guy was 23, what was he doing on a Saturday night? And I don't want to hear rising and grinding. This guy is tweeting up a storm about what you should be doing. To me, there's no difference between California crystal rubbers telling you to just, think your issues away and throw the salt into the water and then watch it dissolve, and there goes all your issues. This is the same exact thing, in my opinion. Anybody who tells you what to do, unless you trust the person and they're close to you, tell them to go eat shit. So whatever your name was, you can promptly eat shit. Even though I don't know a damn thing about you, and I do that thing where we criticize someone based on one tweet, you could be the best human being in the history of the world, and that's really all I can say about it. But just to one up that guy, then one of the responses, I think, went even more viral than that. You got another one of the scam artists telling you how to start a company from there, just all those YouTube commercials. Like, do you want to start a company? Just follow me and take. The only guy who gets like a bad rap for running these scams is like Andrew Tate. These guys are just Andrew Tate, but without picking up women and stuff like that. It's, oh yeah, how to start your construction company from scratch. So you got this guy. If we can pull that one up, it's the
porn?
one that was right under that. Yeah. It's the one where he
I got you.
describes, I believe, masturbation or something is in there. Oh, or maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe that's what I did. I would never do such a thing. Porn plus Uber Eats plus sports betting plus weed plus heavy drinking. Insanely destructive habits, and unfortunately the agenda of a lot of guys every weekend. I don't know. Sounds like he knows from experience. And I wouldn't say this, but as the comment said, looks like he knows from experience. I take exception to these things listed. I never include weed or heavy drinking on my weekends. But both of these guys, when we're all dead, I want to stack up the times we've had, because I can assure you, outside of my times, throwing a couple shekels on Gabe Davis alt overs, we've had some good life experiences and I'd like to stack mine up versus the both of yours. Well, Andy, if you're talking about them, they're winning in the end. Well, maybe. But that's my 2 cents. These guys, what are they going to be doing? They're going to be tweeting about what you should be doing tomorrow, as you're going to have some of those odd shopper premium plays that we got. Like one that I got for you. How about we take some of Ben's picks over? How about we go with the Romeo Dobbs, 50 plus yards? Yes, that's an all to over. Let's go with my Niners. We're going to take the Niners to win with the Deebo Samuel 50 plus. And then the Brandon Cooks 50 plus. You can have stuff for the entire day. We're taking the alt overs on Caesars, and it's going to give you a massive plus money payout. And the reason you can tell both of those guys to relax is because if you're a new user over at Caesars, that bet that I just gave you is going to be risk-free up to $1,000 as long as you're a new user, like I said, over 21 and located in a state or province up there in Canada that has Caesars and sports betting is permitted. But the one thing that those two rat bastards said that is correct, it can be a problem. So if it is a problem, make sure you call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And sometimes you got to be honest with yourself, okay? If you're really just avoiding the dinner table, you're verging on problem. You got to at least fake like you're interested for when everybody, says what they're thankful for. And I do want to say, a couple years back, my mom said, like, everybody, you got to say what you're thankful for. And this guy, who wasn't a weekly Thanksgiving guest, he really went on and on. And we all don't know the guy that well. And he's going on. And this is something that I really did. This is a true story. I have the music on my phone that I can pull up in under 20 seconds, which is proof. Why would I have this song on my phone if I was lying? Oh, did you think I downloaded it just because I knew I was going to say this at the end of the podcast? No, I played the Academy Awards send-off music when people start. They just stop. They won't shut up there. So this guy's like, oh, and when I was younger, and I didn't really have the. Okay, we let that part go, and then he was like, but I do remember that one time, and I played the Academy Awards send-off music to give him the signal. I did that, and then a year later, that same premise was introduced on the season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So everybody always tells you like, oh, I can make a good show. When you see many of the things, because that's not the first time. And the beautiful thing, if you think I'm lying, it's time-stamped because I do a comedy podcast and I told the story on my podcast a year before the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. Are people from Curb watching my podcast? No, absolutely not. But I like to know, / I'm sad to know that my mind is as equally as rotten as Larry David's. But then again, we grew up not too far from each other, so maybe it is a regional type of thing. Thank you guys so much for coming back for another episode of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm thinking about doing maybe earlier in the week since we talk so much nonsense. My guess is that at the end of the week, you actually want some tangible picks to put on your tickets. And earlier in the week, you want to hear about what the hell, you don't mind hearing some of the nonsense and the gossip. So we might try that out. I will keep you guys posted, but it's another reason you definitely should be subscribed to the channel here and have the notifications on, because, we got one early this week. So there are many reasons you should be subscribed to the channel here. That is just one of them. Make sure you're following me on social media. I could always keep you guys updated that way. Always very much appreciated. And whether you're a rat bastard like those guys or not a rat bastard, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. don't send people off with the Academy Awards music unless they really are taking too long.
If you do that at your holiday, send it to me or send it to Andy, and we'll put it on the show next week.
And as the guy learned, who before Thanksgiving or before Halloween, I said, if anyone dresses up like a pirate and grumbles the word parlay in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to include you not only on that next episode, on future episodes. And as always, I'm a man of my word. He's had about 4 appearances already. So anything that I talk about that you do on if you do it and you send me the video, if it doesn't make its way on here, I can assure you it will make its way onto my football or NHL videos. So along with that, make sure you spread the word about the show. Send it to a couple friends who you think might enjoy it. Should this be on the TV? Imagine me yelling in the background about people betting on games and complaining about masturbation and all the things that guys theoretically do on the weekends. I don't know if it would make for the best background ambience like this turkey that we have over my shoulder, but it definitely would be something. All right, guys, good luck with all your bets. Check out some of the other videos that I did this week. I'll have obviously more before the weekend come along for the Sunday picks. If not, I will see you next week on week 13 of Francis and Friends. Take it easy, and once again, happy Thanksgiving.